bet it's a bullet gonna get the last laugh.
Knee lit all of Twitter ablaze again, and it starts with this clip from High Tone, which is a pro player, a streamer, and whatnot. Bro says timeout strategy. Now, you guys can decide whether or not you think this is fair. A lot of people are certainly debating it, including me. It starts off with Lars pressing his offense. Jin is 1 health. Notice the time as well, 14 seconds. Jin parries Lars' offense and launches him. But then what he does is he does a very low combo. You see the clock ticking down, and he basically is wasting all of the time. So the end of the health is 7% for Lars and 9% for Jin. So Jin barely wins, and he wasted, someone did the math and it was like 13 seconds on the clock. He wasted it all. And of course, this is something that people have been talking about already, is how they don't like this. They don't like how you can waste the time. And this is another example of it. Jin's parry, the launcher should be gone. He is the only character who can parry difficult to defend situations or any opponent's main tools and easily convert it into a launcher. Since the heat engager is +9 now, so his parry has become even stronger, only 13 frames move should be allowed. Now, when I look at this, as a Yoshi main, I'm thinking about Yoshimitsu No Sword Stance Flash Launcher or Heat Flash Launcher. That's like the most busted parry in the whole game. Fastest move in the whole game as well, 6 frames. If Knee is saying that the Jin parries should be removed, what about the Flash? If we look at some of the responses, this is Roth. Knee, I respect you too much. You are a legend player. Jin parry already got nerfed from 7 regarding recovery, active frames, and parry setup, and it always been special and unique to him to use as well to reward the player. Also, he's not the only character who can launch. Leroy and Reina can do that too, so I don't agree with you for his nerfs. So that's interesting. What is Leroy's parry that he can launch? I know he has the Hermit Stance low parry, he has the punch parry, and he has the back 2 parry. But I think the back 2 parry just goes into heat, right? But maybe I'm mistaken. Nee says, thank you. I respect you too. That's right. But the situation is very different from Tekken 7 now. In this aggressive game, Jin can deal with other characters' strong attacks and strings using parry into a launcher. That's why I'm arguing punishment with 10 frames to 13 frames moves after parry. And this is something that people say about Yoshimitsu as well. When I was arguing, the flash this, the flash that, people were like, hey, the environment is different, bro. Tekken 7 was a more defensive game. Tekken 8 is a more offense-based game. And in this offense-based game, the parries are much stronger. But my argument against that is, isn't that what we're trying to change? Aren't we upset that Tekken 8 is a super aggressive game and we're trying to make it more defensive? So if that's the goal, why would you destroy all the parries? Because once the game is defensive once more, then those parries are going to be really, really bad. That's why I think maybe you shouldn't attack all of you can attack these parries because I think the Flash definitely needed the nerf, right? I think Jin, maybe you could nerf it. I don't know. I'm not a Jin main. The Jin mains can say yes or no. Maybe you could put a temporary patch on these parries until the game is more centered around defense, but then you have to buff the parries once more. Arsenal says you're right. It should be gone. Another response from Nee where he says, okay, then talk about your main. Taunt should massive scaling or should only give +12 or a better option should not exist. Nee says, I see. Is there a reason? Is there a reason? A reason. Because it's totally unfair to have a safeguard break that you can cancel. Nee says, in quotes, taunt can be canceled, but it still counts as a move, so you can get a counter hit during it. It also means it's not safe. Just because the wave dash can be canceled doesn't mean it's safe either. Even backdash canceling, there are gaps where you can get hit by the opponent moves. Taunts will be safe if you know 100% when the opponent will attack. It's interesting that Nee is like taken to Twitter. He went from not really saying anything to now he's tweeting more than Arsenal and Ash. If Jin's parry should be nerfed, then Brian Free Taunt Jet Upper should be gone. Parry and taunt aren't the same thing. Why mention it? Taunt Jet Upper isn't 100% a launcher. This person said their rank right off the get-go. Red rank. Please show us how you can win a big tournament with Jin. This is free launcher in tournaments. Maybe a really good idea to try this in upcoming EVO Japan. I'm waiting. This person says, I can't. you could try yourself. At least he said he can't, right? Now we're going to get to the big boy response. This is IMOP. Have to disagree. It's unique to Jin, and Parry range from not giving anything guaranteed to a launcher. The game needs more unique gameplay elements, even if it's strong in tournaments. So when you talk about the uniqueness of what the parry is, we don't like that the devs are removing uniqueness. I mean, look at what they did to, what's his name? They got rid of some of his signature tools. Same thing with Law. I would argue that the parry is Jin's signature tool, definitely. Nee says, it's not that unique. It's just the main character's advantage. Users can check and punish. IMOP says, other characters have fixed follow-up attacks. Jin has the option to do any move from his move list, depending on frame advantage he gets after parry. So it's unique in this aspect, isn't it? The closest to this is Leroy, but Leroy parry works differently. Nee says, if we go by what I said, you can still choose 10 frame, 13 frame move punish. Even that alone is powerful. There's nothing unique about it. It's just a protagonist bias. It's time to change that. Because it's Tekken 8, even when the heat engager was plus 17, it was hard to use while rising movement because of Jin's parry. This is something that I talk about as well, is main character privilege. I do think Jin has some of that, right? And I argue, should that be the case? When you look at the other fighting games, the main characters are the best. There was a screenshot that I no longer have, but it was a screenshot of a tournament where, and this was pretty recent for Street Fighter, where there was 6 Kens in top 8. 6 of them. Now, obviously, I don't think the character should be that powerful, but the fact that Ken is the strong, or one of the strongest characters in the game, I kind of agree with that. I do think whoever's on the cover should have some kind of like fire to them. It just makes sense, in my opinion. Harada said that players are more likely to try the characters who are on the cover because that's probably why they bought it. But then also, whoever the character select screen defaults to, they're very likely to try that. So I think that those characters should have a little bit something. But once again, it shouldn't be enough to where you have 6 Kens at top 8. This person says, remove Jin parry, remove Brian's taunt. It is pretty interesting though. The taunt is pretty powerful in Tekken 8. So for Need to say to remove Jin's parry is pretty crazy because, I mean, have you seen what your own character is doing? I think Jin's parry is fun in the sense that it rewards you for knowing the frame situation of what you parried. Not all situations lead to combo. Things that reward character mastery is always cool in my book. So I'd rather see other things nerfed to normalize him in the future. Can I get a yes or no in the chat? Do you guys think that what Nee is saying is accurate? Is facts? Do you think that they should remove Jin's parry? It shouldn't launch. It could still like do some type of like, guaranteed hit or something. 1-1-2. Oh, Jin doesn't have that. Lol. Whatever he has, 2-2-1 or whatever. Do you think that's what he should get, or should he be able to get a full combo? I would imagine with Jin being the most popular character in the game that a lot of people would be against this. I would imagine that this is a big hill to climb, and I don't know if Nee is even capable of climbing it. But also, the developers have shown time and time again that they listen to Nee a lot. So we will see if there's a future update where Jin's parry is clapped. Because, I mean, it happened before where Nee said they should do this. And then the next update, they do it. Here's CBM, another Jin main. Jin's parry got nerfed already after Tekken 8 release, and it's Jin's unique point. Looking at these Jin mains talk about how the parry is already nerfed, it reminds me so much of Yoshimitsu. When Yoshimitsu was the #1 guy and everyone was talking about his flash, us Yoshimates were talking about how they hit the flash like 4 times. The damage, the ability to launch in normal stance with no heat, the range of it, the tracking of it, the heat consumption of it, the health recovery of it. They hit it so much even before Season 2. In Season 2, they added 5 more, was it 5 more recovery frames that they added to it? Or 10, I can't remember. But they did a lot to it, right? I don't know. I just draw the similarities there because I don't think people are intentionally trying to downplay their characters. I don't know if you guys would say the Jin mains are doing that. I just think players are protective of their characters, and especially if it involves their identity getting sapped. Nee is still human. Everyone is biased. Yeah, everyone is biased, bro. Everyone has bad takes. I don't fault Nee at all for the bad take. I think it's interesting to analyze and understand. This is Lee Mishima. To be honest, I really like the idea besides Besides, at this point, the identity issue seems to be a thing of the past. I would do the same with Yoshimitsu's Flash. It's similar to Jin's Parry and how it works, maybe better. No more Flash combo for Yoshimitsu. Someone said, can we remove guaranteed taunt heat smash while we're at it? Nee says, Jack can do it too. Get rid of it together. I think anything into guaranteed heat smash is bad. How do you guys feel about this? They're still arguing about character fairness. This person says using the logic Yoshimitsu Flash and unblockable launchers are also unique and we shouldn't have touched them. Heck, let's give King his homing throws because they're unique. Jin can have his parry, but Mario can have his tackle is impressive. And then he says, I'm OP. Yoshi Flash's unblockable low should be strong. King's grab should be strong. Mario tackle should be strong. Any character traits that's identifiable or unique to the character should be strong. Nerf other aspects to balance it out. That's crazy. They're really having a deep conversation over there.